Okay, what happened to 2025? I feel like I can't believe it. It's 2026 now. It's the first day of the year. And if you're like me, I'm thinking, what were the goals that I set for myself last year and which ones can I tick off? And I don't know that I can tick off too many, but I have to add one thing to my goals list this year, as well as next year and the following. And I think you should too. I think we should all add be kind to ourselves. Be kind to myself. Let's just put it that way. Because really, we are always obsessed with going from the start to finish line, and we don't really think about the steps in between. Sometimes we stumble, sometimes there's a roadblock, sometimes we miss something and we make mistakes. Sometimes we get so upset at ourselves, we beat ourselves up because we made a mistake. But what happens with that? You turn that experience into wisdom. You take it with you and you've learned something. And the next time that you do something similar, you might apply a different method and it might work out much better. It's just like when you go on an interview, right? A job interview can be daunting for a lot of people. But once you do one or two or three or several, you really start to get the hang of things. You start to think about what you can say to represent yourself better, what you can say that will grab the person who's interviewing you instead of regarding you as just another applicant. You want to stand out. So while we are always setting goals for ourselves every year, we want to think of things that will stand out, that will make you the youest you. And what I mean by that is maybe we've done so many things and tried to live up to people's expectations that we have lost ourselves. And we want to always rein ourselves back in. We always want to make sure that we aren't lost, that we will thrive, we will succeed in whatever it is that we want to do. Last year, I manifested something and it was so specific. Did I have doubts about it at first? Yes, I did. I will admit that I just thought, well, you know what, that couldn't possibly happen because it's so specific. Well, lo and behold, it happened. And I have to admit that the first thought was, no, it can't be. And then the second thought was, well, it's coincidence. And I tend to be like most of us, where we still doubt things, even though sometimes they just are right in front of us. The proof is right there. And yet we still doubt, we still question, we still wonder. And I'll be the first to say that I did. I did wonder about it. But the more and more that I thought about it, the more I thought, that thing that happened was so almost impossible. And then I always think of the word impossible and I think of possible. And I think that those words are really interesting to me because, impossible means that it will, to me, it means that it will never happen. And then possible is, of course, that it's possible, right? And I really honestly didn't deep down think it was possible when I manifested that thing. And I think that we tend to underestimate possibilities and we tend to underestimate ourselves, how much we want something, how much we want to manifest it. And I still think of that as one of the things that is outstanding for me last year because it was just almost virtually impossible for me to think that that could happen. And when it did, I mean, I have to say, my whole soul, spirit, whatever it is, just felt something special. It just felt like there is something to this. And I mean, I've heard the word manifest all the time. I hear people say, just manifest it, feel as if it's already happened. And I really didn't know how to do that. But ever since I did my meditation work and I'm always doing research, I realized that it really is a real thing. I just never thought that it could really happen to me. I guess that's what it is. Because I'm thinking, well, it's happening to somebody else, but not to me. And That's, I think that's key to how we all each feel deep down. We always look at, say, the person who's successful, or the person who is a healer, or the person who is, overcame some health condition, and you always think, well, that happened for that person, but that's not going to happen for me. And I have been witness to a lot of things that just seem so extraordinary, and they are extraordinary. And I think that a lot of times when I see that something could happen for someone else and their whole demeanor changes, it's like this delightful element of surprise and knowledge, or I guess it's knowledge, but something. And you've gained so much from that, when you see the possibilities are real. And anyway, I hope that 2026 will bring all of you the same thing that it does for me. And that is that we are kinder to ourselves. We can still set goals. We should try to be the youest you, the meest me possible, without having to put on that mask all the time, and to not always have to overwhelm ourselves with anxiety, because really we're taking day by day. Everything is unpredictable, right? Even when you think that something is going to happen and you predict that's going to happen, it sometimes doesn't. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. That's life. It's so unpredictable. So, with that, we should take the unpredictableness of life as guidelines to lessons on our life journey. Hey, sorry for the interruption. If you've stuck with me so far, thanks. But I wanted to know if you are interested in knowing the details about what I manifested last year. Let me know in the comments below, or just like this video. That would really help me in determining whether I should do a follow-up video based on what I manifested. Now, back to the video. So have a wonderful and safe 2026.